Okay, so I need to get the laptop going. I'm sorry, I just woke up. It's really hot over here, so I slept like way too long. It's funny, yesterday I didn't sleep at all, and today I slept too much. That's fine. Huh. I'm just finding something to put on real quick. I'm just find something to put on, and then we'll get on with it. Watch later.
How did everyone suddenly get so good at writing? Word tune. It's your writing weakness. Word tune can make you sound like a gosh.
Why would somebody want to do that? I get it's more professional, but it's like, that's not real though. That's like, it's artificial, you know? Why would I want to have something help me write better, you know?
Go as far back as the 1990s and originally began as chainmail, the classic, or this is people or something bad kind of stuff. Though they started taking off when the internet became more mainstream, the term even coming from copy pasta. Get it? Copy pasta, copy. Being more installed into I and many of my middle school friends are fascinated over the scary content, the killer, Smile God, and so much more. So I thought it would be a nice idea to compile every single original creepypasta story.
Alright, so here's what we're working on right now, right? I'm gonna try to start working on the vending machine poster thing for DVD, and yeah.
No, Slenderman is not going to kidnap you at some point in your life. The way this video is going to work is I'm going to read each original story and then provide some extra origin info. I want to give full credit to creepypasta.com, as that's where I directly read from, and all the other credits such as music and art will also be linked.
Yeah, I'll probably have to do that later. I'll probably do that with a reference. I know what I'm going to draw now. I gotta get the page out though.
The last thing I have to say is that stop looking at CDs and cassettes are out now, and there's a few left. I don't know why that's in the video, so they're still going to be up, but if you're at listening, it's not going to be fine. But if my eye looks weird, I currently have an eye infection. This is how bad my face looked during these past few days, so it's calming down now. I feel better. Things are asking. Are you guys ready for my longest video ever? Let's get started. Abandoned Disney original author / Some of you may have heard that the Disney Corporation is responsible for this one real world-full live ghost town. Disney built the Treasure Island Resort in Baker's Bay in Bahamas. It didn't start as a ghost town. Disney's cruise ships would actually stop at the resort and tourists there to relax and luxury. This is a fact. Look it up. Disney took $30 million. Yes, $30 million. And they abandoned it. Disney blamed the shallow waters, too shallow for their ships to safely operate. There was even blame cast on the workers. Since they were from the Bahamas, they were too late to work a regular schedule. That's where the factual nature of the story ends. It wasn't because of sand, and it obviously wasn't because foreigners are lazy. Both are competing excuses. I sincerely doubt those reasons were legitimate. I do not buy the official story because of Logan's Palace, near the beachside city of Emerald Isle in North Carolina. Disney began construction of Logan's Palace in the late 1990s. The concept was a jungle-themed resort with a large, nested palace in the center of the whole thing. If you're unfamiliar with the character of Mowgli, then you might better remember the story of the Jungle Book. If you haven't seen it anywhere else, you know it as a Disney cartoon from decades past. Mowgli is an abandoned child in the jungle, essentially raised by animals that simultaneously threaten and pursued by other animals. Mowgli's Palace was a controversial undertaking from the start. Disney bought up a ton of high-priced land for the project. There was actually a scandal surrounding some of the purchases. The local government claimed, quote, eminent domain on people's homes, then turned around and sold the properties to Disney. At one point, a home that had just been constructed was immediately condemned with discrimination. The land grab by the government was supposedly for some fictional highway project. Knowing full well what was going on, people started calling it Mickey Mouse Highway. Then there was the concept art. A group of stuffed shirts from Disney Co. actually held a city meeting. They intended to sell everyone on how lucrative this project was going to be for everyone. When they showed the concept art of this gigantic Indian palace surrounded by a jungle staffed with men and women in loincloths and travel gear, well, suffice to say, everyone flipped their shit. Talking about a large Indian palace, jungle, and loincloths, not only in the center of a relatively wealthy area, but also a somewhat xenophobic area of the southern USA. It was a questionable mix at that point in history. One member of the crowd tried to stop the stage, but he was quickly separated by security after he managed to break one of the presentation boards over his knee. Disney took that community and essentially broke it over and said, the houses were raised, the land was cleared, there wasn't a damn thing anyone could do or say about it. Local TV and
I look awful right now. I need to brush my hair. And again, my hair is weird. If I brush it, it makes it look worse.
Disney sunk those millions in and it split. Same thing happened with Mowgli's Palace. Construction was complete. Visitors stayed at the resort. Surrounding communities were flooded with traffic, the usual associated with an influx of lost and irritated tourists. Then it all stopped. Disney shut it down and nobody knew what the hell to think. But they were pretty happy about it. Disney's loss was pretty hilarious and wonderful to a large group of folks who didn't want this in the first place. I honestly didn't give this place another thought since hearing it close over a decade ago. I was only 4 hours from Emerald Isle, so really I only heard the rumblings and didn't experience any of it firsthand. Then I read this article from someone who had explored the Treasure Island Resort and posted a whole blog about all the crazy shit he found. Stuff just left behind. Things smashed, defaced, probably ruined by the disgruntled former employees who had just lost their jobs. Hell, the locals from all around probably had a hand in breaking that place. People there felt just as angry about Treasure Island as folks here about Mowgli's Palace. Plus, there were rumors that Disney had released their aquarium stock into the local waters would be closed, including sharks. Who wouldn't want to take a few swings at some
So, right this second, I'm working on a kind of mashup thing. And then when this is finished, I'm going to probably later, that is, work on the Bendy chapter poster for Dead by Daylight, and then after that I'll probably work on Am from I Have No Mouth as the Dredge chapter, concept skin. Sorry, I'm so used to chapter concepts that when I say concept skin, I'm like, that don't sound right. Hold up, wait a minute. Something ain't right.
However, was that nobody before myself had apparently thought to blog about the place or even post a photo. None of the local TV or newspaper sites had one word about the place, though that was to be expected since they had all
So, here's what we've got so far. It's Robbie the Rabbit and Toy Bonnie.
Remove links from search results, basically for no good reason. Looking back, it's probably not that nobody spoke about the resort, but rather their words were inaccessible. So in the end, I could barely find the place. All I had to do was go on an old as hell map I'd received in the mail back in the 90s. Those are promotional items out to people who had recently visited Disney World, and I guess since I had been there in the late 80s, that was recent. I didn't really intend to hang on to it. It just got shoved in with my books and comics from my childhood. I only remembered it months into my research, and even then it took me another few weeks to locate the storage bin my parents had shoved it all into. But I did find it. Locals were no help, as most were transplants who moved to the beach in recent years, or old residents who just stared at me and made rude gestures the second I managed to say, where would I find Mowgli's? Yeah, the drive took me through an inordinately long corridor of overgrowth, tropical plants that had run rampant and overpopulated the area mixed with the native species of flora that actually belonged there and had tried to reclaim the land. I wasn't on when I reached the front gates of the resort, tremendous, monolithic wooden gates whose supports to either side looked like they must have been cut from giant sequoias. The gate itself had been caged in several places by woodpeckers and eaten away at the base by burrowing insects. Hanging on the gate was a sheet of metal, some random scrap, with hand-painted letters scrawled in black. Abandoned by Disney, clearly the handiwork of some past local or employee who wanted to make some small protest. The gates were open enough to walk through, but not drive. So, grabbing my digital camera and a map, whose flip side showed a layout of the resort, I set off on foot. The fairgrounds of the place were just as overgrown as the entryway. Palm trees stood unattended and ragged among piles of their own coconuts. Banana plants similarly stood in their own stinking, bug-riddled refuse. There was a sort of clash between order and chaos, as carefully planted rows of perennial flowers mixed with obnoxious small-leafed stinking, blanket mushrooms. All that remained of any outdoor structures were broken, rotting wood and various charred bits of unidentifiable material. What was most likely an information booth or an outdoor bar was now simply a pile of assorted debris, chopped up by past vandalism and ravaged by weather. The most interesting thing on the grounds was a statue of Baloo, the friendly bear from the Jungle Book, which stood in a sort of courtyard in front of a main building, he was frozen in the pose of making a wave toward no one. Staring into empty space with a silly, toothy grin, his bird shit covered whole swaths of his fur and vines that sword his platform. I approached the main building, the palace, only to find the outside of the building covered in graffiti where the original paint had been peeled and chipped away. The front doors weren't just open, they had been taken off the hinges and were stolen. Above the front doors were the gaping maw where someone had once again painted, abandoned by Disney. Wish I could tell you about all the awesome stuff I saw in the palace. Forgotten statues, abandoned cash registers, a full-fledged secret society of homeless bums, but no. The inside of the building was so stark, so bare, that I actually think people had stolen the molding off the walls. Anything that was too big to steal, counters, desks, fake giant trees, they were all resting amid this empty echo chamber that amplified my every step like a slow rat-a-tat of a machine gun. I checked the floor plan and headed to all the locations that would seem in any way interesting. The kitchen was, as you'd imagine, an industrial footprint area with all the appliances in space. No expenses spared. Every glass.
Obviously, it's not gonna be like perfect to the style of Finance Freeze or anything like that because you know it's my art style. But this is what we got. We're working with so far. We're getting the body done, and where it's gonna really become interesting is the details because I'm gonna try to make it look more metallic with the clothes, and then I'm gonna go ahead and where it's gonna really pick up the most is I'm gonna give Robbie Toy Bonnie's features. So instead of a brown pair of overalls like he wears in the game, I'm gonna give him like Toy Bonnie's like stomach and muzzle color. And then I'm gonna give him Toy Bonnie's rosy cheeks and the green eyes and yeah. It's gonna be pink fur but with Toy Bonnie's accents.
Were similarly wrecked, and I didn't expect to find anything there. I thought there was actually
maybe I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I think I heard a quiet conversation coming out, though it was like a whisper, probably my own breathing echoing in the silence, or just another case of the sound of flowing water playing tricks on the mind. This is what it sounded like. I know, that sounds ridiculous. I'm just telling you what I experienced, why I thought there might have been something running in that room, or worse, some vagrants would have holed up there and probably would have knifed me. The front doors of the palace again, I figured I hadn't found anything. Wasting the trip up. As I looked out the door, I noticed something interesting in the courtyard that I had apparently missed. Something that would give me at least one thing to show for all of my trouble, even if it was just a photograph. There was a lifelike statue of a python, maybe 80 feet long, coiled up and sunning itself on a pedestal right in the center of the area. It was almost time for the sun to start setting, so the light fell into the object and took away for a photograph. I approached the python and snapped the photo. Then I stood on my toes and snapped another. I moved closer again to get the details of its face. Slowly, casually, the python lifted its head, looked directly into my eyes, turned, and slithered off the pedestal, across the grass and into the trees. All 80 feet of it, its head long disappeared into the woods before its tail even left the sunny spot. Disney had released all their exotic animals onto the grounds. Right there on my floor plan map was the, quote, reptile house. I should have known. I read about the sharks at Treasure Isle, and I should have known they'd done this. I was dumbfounded, just utterly stupefied. My mouth must have been hanging open for the longest time before I came back down to earth and snapped it shut.
Hello, I didn't see anybody was in here. Here's what we got going on so far. It is a Robbie the Rabbit Silent Hill Finance Phrase mashup. Came up with the idea the other day, and I was just like, I gotta do it. So it's gonna be Robbie the Rabbit from Silent Hill with Toy Bonnie's features, I guess. I haven't decided what yet.
Leaf carpet or up onto a desk of questionable reliability. I had seen some stairs in the palace's lobby and decided to go and have a seat there until I felt better. The staircase was far enough from the front of the building to be relatively clean. I pulled the wedge in the middle off the wall, once again painted with the abandoned by Disney motto, placed the wedge on the stairs and sat on it to keep it somewhat clean. The stairway led downward below ground level. Using my camera flash as a sort of improvised flashlight, I could see that the staircase ended in a metal mesh door with a padlock, a sign on the door, a real sign. Mascots only, thank you. This perked up my spirits a little bit for two reasons. One, the mascots only area would have definitely had some interesting stuff back in the day. Two, the padlock was still in place. Nobody had gone down there. Not the vandals, not the looters, nobody. This was the only place I could actually explore and perhaps find something interesting to photograph or one only steal. I had come to the palace essentially agreeing with myself that it was okay to take anything I wanted because, hey, abandoned. Didn't take much to bust the lock.
Still working on this. It's a Finance Phrase Silent Hill mashup, so we're gonna keep on keeping on with that, and then later on I'm working on a Dead by Daylight poster thingy. And it'll be posted on my community tab later if anybody wants to see that.
parts of the building I'd seen. For one, every second or third fluorescent light overhead was illuminated, even though they flickered and faded randomly. Also, nothing had been stolen or broken, even if age and exposure were finally taking their toll. Tables had notepads and pens. There were clocks, even a punch-in clock on the wall, complete with filled-out time cards. Chairs were scattered around. There was even a small break room with an old, static-filled television and long, rotted-out food and drink on the counter. It was like one of those post-apocalyptic movies where everything is left in the state of evacuation. As I walked in the maze-like sub-basement hallways of the mascots-only area, the sights just became more and more interesting. As I went further, desks and tables were knocked over, papers scattered and almost melded with the damp floor. The large carpet of mold was slowly overtaking the real rotting crimson floor covering. Everything was sort of squishy. Anything wood disintegrated into mush when I applied even the least amount of force.
Damn
Clothing items
flies.
hanging on hooks in one of the rooms.
Okay,
felt moist
anyway.
as if I tried on. One thing that annoyed me was that the light was becoming more sparse and unreliable as I went further into the dark. Eventually, I reached a black and yellow striped door with the words "Character Prep" one stenciled on it. The door wouldn't open at first. I figured this was probably where the costumes were kept, and I finally wanted a photograph of that twisted, snaky mess. Try as I might, whatever angle or trick I tried, the door wouldn't budge. That is, until I gave up and started to walk away. It was when there was a slight popping sound, and the door creaked open slowly. Inside, the room was completely dark, pitch black. I used the camera flash to look for a light switch in the wall, but there was nothing. As I made my search, I was jarred out of my sense of excitement by a large electrical
Let me
buzz.
just
There was a light
slide back over here.
flashed a light, flickering.
You got the taser racket over.
There's
a taser racket. It's for if bugs. In case of bugs, break glass. It's a racket, and if you hit this button, it becomes a taser. So, yeah, I've been actually shocked by it. It kind of hurts a little bit. It doesn't hurt enough to say like, oh my god, oh, shocked, but it hurts enough. I mean,
was a Mickey Mouse costume at the center of the room. Unlike the other costumes, it was lying on its back in the center of the floor like a murder victim. The fur on the costume was rotted and shedding, creating bare patches. What was even more odd, however, is the coloring of the costume. It was like a photo negative of the actual Mickey Mouse. Black where he should have been white, and white where he should have been black.
okay, so now all that's left to do is the head. That's where it's going to look the most like both characters, I think.
Downward angles, side shots to show an entire row of frozen, putrid cartoon faces, some with plastic eyes missing. Then I decided to stage a shot, just one of the characters' heads on the slick, grimy floor. I reached for the headpiece of the costume and carefully removed it so that the thing wouldn't fall apart in my hands. As I looked into the face of the wide-eyed, bouldering head, a loud clattering sound made me jump with a fright. I looked down at my feet, and there between my shoes was a human skull. It had fallen out of the mascot head and shattered into pieces on my feet. Only the empty face and lower jaw remained staring up at me. I dropped the duck head immediately, as you'd expect, and moved for the door. As I stood in the doorway, I looked back to the school on the floor. I had taken a picture of it, you know? I had to, for any number of reasons that may seem silly, but only if you don't think it through. I needed proof of what happened, especially if Disney was going to somehow make this go away. I had no doubt in my mind, right from the start, that even if it was gross negligence, Disney was responsible for this. That's when Mickey, the photo negative opposite Mickey in the middle of the floor, started to get up. First sitting up, then climbing to its feet. Mickey Mouse costume, or whoever was inside it, stood there at the center of the room, its fake face just staring directly at me as I mumbled no over and over and over, with shaking hands, violently thrashing hard, and legs that once again turned to jelly. I managed to lift the camera and aim it at the opposite creature, now quietly sizing me up. The digital screen displayed only dead pixels in the shape of a thing. It was a perfect silhouette of the Mickey Mouse costume. As the camera moved in my unsteady hands, the dead pixels spread, mirroring the screen wherever Mickey's outline moved to. Then the camera died, went blank and quiet and broken. I raised my eyes once again to the Mickey Mouse costume. It said a hushed, perverted, but perfectly executed Mickey Mouse voice. What is bad? Tried to pull at its own head, working its clumsy, glove-clad fingers around its neck with clawing and patient movement, similar to a wounded man trying to pull himself free from a predator's jaws. As it worked its digits into its neck, so much blood, so much thick, chunky, yellow blood. I turned away as I heard a sickening tearing of cloth and flesh. I only cared about getting away. Above the doorway out of this room, I saw the final message on into the metal with bone or fingernails. Abandoned by God. I never got the pictures out of the camera. I never wrote a blog entry about it after I ran from that place. Fled for sanity, if not my very life. I knew why Disney didn't want anyone to know about this place. They didn't want anyone like me getting in. They didn't want anything like that getting out. Abandoned by Disney. I really like this one. I really like this one. It was the most like convincing that it could be realistic.
It's obviously still a work in progress.
A real thing.
There we go. We got the face somewhat on. We just gotta start adding more of the Toy Bonnie features slash the Robbie the Rabbit features. So.
Yellow blood at the bottom, the negative Mickey. I feel like that's when it got corny. I'm not saying it's bad. It's a bad story, you know. Like back in the day, back in our day, we didn't have ARGs. We had creepypastas. I'm not gonna give these a rating. I'm just gonna let y'all know slight takes of them. I think it was a cool story. A little corny at the end. Let's head on to Lavender Town now. Lavender Town Syndrome. Lavender Town Syndrome, also known as Lavender Town
Nah, I'm not really super into that story. Where? Hello. There we go.
This is why I stopped shopping on Amazon, and you should too. Don't spend another dime on Amazon until you watch this first.
Watch this. I can show you how to get the sweetest deals online when you shop from major retailers like Amazon and Target. You can drop prices automatically. I can show you how, but I can't do it for you. People are saving real money doing this. $160 million in the last year. Across thousands of different retailers, you'll immediately see this. Do you know what I mean? You'll see better prices you had no idea existed. And you don't even need to ask. They just show up automatically. Download this free tool that'll give you access to the deals. Just click, done. That's it. Simple. It takes all of 10 seconds. No need to enter any personal information. No technical mumbo jumbo. It's that easy. What are you waiting for? It takes less than 30 seconds to start saving. And this is all 100% free.
Okay. I'm gonna give it Toy Bonnie's eyelids and muzzle to kind of really bring together the look, kind of. So far, here we are. He's getting there. He's getting there.
Have over 125 online degrees and certificates, and you'll pay $0 for digital materials in those courses. UMGC. Apply today at no cost.
Sonic.exe. I'm a total Sonic the Hedgehog fan, much like everyone else. I like the newer games, but I don't mind playing the classics. I don't think I've ever played glitchy or hacked games before, though I don't think I want to play any after the experience I had. Standard on a nice summer afternoon.
Okay.
I was playing Sonic Unleashed. I like that
It looks good. I like it. I think I'm gonna start inking it now.
The mailman had arrived and put something in my mailbox as usual and left. Paused my game to see what I got in the mail. The only thing in the mailbox was a CD case for computers and a note. I took it inside. I looked at the note first and realized it was from my dear friend Kyle. Let's just call
I gave it 2 eyes. I gave him one that's like Robbie the Rabbit with Silent Hill colors. And then I gave him another that is Toy Bonnie's eye color. So, yeah.
I had to get rid of this thing somehow before it was too late.
Oh, wait. I just said that. The other one is the blackened eye that a lot of the jerks get. Oh, wait. I just realized Toy Bonnie has eyelashes.
Destroy it, but do it quick. Otherwise, he'll catch you. Don't even play the game. It's what he wants. Destroy it, please, Kyle. Well, that was secretly weird. Even though Kyle is my best friend and I haven't seen him in 2 weeks, I didn't do what he asked me. I didn't think that a simple game disc would do anything bad to him. After all, it's just a game, right? Boy, was I wrong about that. I looked at the disc and it looks like any ordinary computer CDR disc. A black marker on it with Sonic. Shop or eBay. When I saw Sonic on the right-hand CD, I was actually excited and wanted to play it since I'm a big Sonic fan.
Okay, where's my pen? Where?
Computer, but this game.
I'm ready to ink this, but I can't find my damn pen.
I noticed that it was the first Sonic game. It was like awesome because, like I said earlier, I like the classics. First thing I noticed that was out of place from the start. It was a split second when I saw the title image turn into something much different, something that I now consider horrifying before cutting to black. I remember a second before the game cut to black. The sky was dark. The title emblem was rusted and ruined. The Sega 1981 was now instead
Oh shit!
66. The water had turned.
I left the pen. I left the pen out. Oh, great. Oh yeah.
Sonic's eyes were pitch black, bleeding with two glowing.
I really like how this came out. I think it's gonna be really cool when it's colored. Plus, it's gonna be the first mashup on my channel. That's cool. Oh, that's hot.
About 10 seconds or so, and then another weird thing happened. The save file select from Sonic the Hedgehog 3 popped up, and I was like, what the fuck? What's this doing in the first Sonic game? Anyway, then I noticed something off. The background was the dark, cloudy sky.
Nope.
Sonic's theme. The level you're on is just red static for all three files. What freaked me out was the character select. It showed only Tails, Knuckles, and to my surprise, Dr. was fine. Now, I was sure that something was up. I mean, you players were bonding in a classic Sonic game. That's when I realized this wasn't
Sonic Adventure 2. Next.
Yeah, it definitely looked hacked. It was really
That game was the shit though. Sonic Adventure 2. Oof.
Scary, or at least tried not to be.
I am the Eggman.
There was nothing wrong with that. Anyway,
That game is the shit.
Tails and got started. The game froze for about 5 seconds, and I heard a creepy pixelated laugh that sounded an awful lot like that Kafka guy from Final Fantasy before cutting to black. The screen stayed for about 10 seconds or more, and it showed the typical level title thing, except the simplistic shapes were different shades of red, and the text showed only Hill Act 1. The screen faded in, and the level changed, revealing Tails in the Green Hill Zone from Sonic 1. The music was different though. It sounded like a peaceful melody in reverse. Anyway, I started playing and had Tails running like you would in the classic Sonic games. What was odd was that as Tails was running along the level, there was nothing but flat ground and a few trees for 5 minutes. That was when the peaceful music started to slow down.
Welcome. Hello. Here's what I'm working on. It's a Silent Hill Final Phrase mashup. It's going good. I'm inking it right now with a pen.
That was when the music started to slow down. Tails had a shocked and sad look on his face, and I never saw him happen before, so I had to move along. He kept that worried look on his face as he kept moving. I saw more dead animals as Tails moved past them, looking more and more worried as the moves past more dead animals. I was shocked to see how they all died. They looked like somebody killed them in rather gruesome ways. The squirrel was hung on a tree with what appeared to be his intestines hanging out. A bunny had all 4 of his limbs torn off, and a duck had his eyes gouged out and his throat slit.
I'm listening to the creepy pastas and I'm drawing, so I just had the idea, like I was gonna work on a chapter poster for Dead by Daylight, but I had this idea the other day when I was watching the Final Phrase Baddington tapes, and I was just like, I had to do this like as soon as possible, you know?
Obviously noticing that Sonic wasn't responding to me, if not acting as if he was totally oblivious of Tails' presence. Tails walked slowly towards Sonic, and I noticed that I wasn't using the keyboard to make a move, so this had to be a cutscene. Suddenly, I began to have a growing feel of dread as Tails walked closer to Sonic to get his attention. I felt that Tails was in danger and something bad was going to happen. I heard faint static growing louder as Tails was about inches away from Sonic and stopped and stuck his hand out to touch on that foreboding feeling in my gut was growing stronger, and I felt the urge to get away from Sonic as the static grew louder. Suddenly, in a split second, I saw Sonic's eyes open. They were black with those red glowing dots, just like that title image, though there wasn't a smile. When that happened, the screen turned black and the static sound was off. It stayed black for about 7 seconds, and then white text appeared, forming a message saying, "Hello, do you want to play with me?" At this point, I was creeped out. I didn't even want to continue the game, but my curiosity got the best of me. When I was taken to a different level, with the level title...
Here's what I'm working on. I know somebody's gonna watch this back with the VOD and just be like, shut the fuck up. I know. But I'm saying this for people who are joining. It's a Silent Hill. It's a Silent Hill mashup with Five Nights at Freddy's. So it's Toy Bonnie mashed up with what's his face? Robbie the Rabbit from Silent Hill. The idea when I was watching Five Nights at Freddy's tape, so I wanted to get it going. Plus, it's gonna be the first mashup that I have on the channel, so that's cool.
Right after 10 seconds had passed, as I helped Tails run through the forest, and I started seeing flashes of Sonic popping up everywhere on the screen. Again, those black and red eyes. The music changed to that suspenseful drowning jingle as I see Sonic and then Tails slowly gaining up on him, flying. Sonic wasn't running, he was flying. The flying pose his sprite was making looked very similar to Metal Sonic's flying pose in Sonic Speed, except it was just Sonic and he had those black and red eyes again. This time, he had the most deranged looking grin on his face. He looked as though he was enjoying the torment he was giving the poor little fox as he gained up on him. Suddenly, when Tails tripped, another cutscene, the music stopped and Sonic vanished. Tails laid there and started crying for 15 seconds. The scene was rather upsetting to watch, and I kind of teared up myself. But then Sonic appeared right in front of Tails, and Tails looked up in horror. Blood started coming down those blackened eyes of Sonic as a grin slowly grew on his face as he looked down at the horrified fox.
It's so weird how, like, this doesn't even, like, faze me anymore. But when I was a kid, because creepypasta was my first, like, exposure to horror, that's what got me into horror. Sonic EXE scared the living shit out of me. Like, I was only, like, 5 or 6. I had watched Thunder the Arrival, and then I was watching the Sonic EXE game, right? So I watched the game, and it was the most disturbing thing or scary thing I had watched at that point, because I was a huge Sonic fan, so I watched it. Sonic EXE used to fucking terrify me, so it's just funny now seeing the actual game, because it doesn't even faze me, and I'm just like, that's just Tuesday, I've seen worse, you know? It's just funny because that at one point was the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. Same with like Bendy. Like Bendy and the Ink Machine, that scene where you walk in and you see Boris and he's got no guts and his ribs are exposed. At one point, it's funny to think that was the most disturbing thing I'd ever seen. It made me feel like I wanted to fucking vomit. Obviously, as a horror fan, you like things that make you scared or uncomfortable, so I liked it, right? But, like, it's weird to think that scene at the time was the most disturbing thing I had seen from a video game, movie, anything. And then I recently this year went back and I played Bendy and the Ink Machine for the first time, start to finish. And I played Bendy and the Dark Revival for the first time. And it's funny to think that now is just like, yeah, honestly, it's not even that bad. Like, it's just bones, bro. Like, it's funny to think that, like, now I'm unfazed by that, but at the time that was the worst thing I've ever seen, and it made me like so uncomfortable. You know, it's just funny how Bendy at one point in time was the scariest thing I'd ever seen, and now it just doesn't even faze me. Like, that's just Tuesday. Yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's dumb. So here's how it's coming. It's going good. As you can see, it's getting inked a little bit. It's getting there.
It sounded like Gygas's theme right after he beat Pokey and Earthbound. I also noticed that Knuckles looked just as afraid as Tails did, though not as much.
So how's your day going? You doing good and stuff? As long as somebody stayed off stream, so you know, figured we might as well talk. How's your day going? What you doing? What's new? Okay.
I noticed several bloodstains on the metallic ground. I felt a growing sense of fear again, thinking something horrible was going to happen to Knuckles. He looked nauseated walking down this bloodstained road, but I kept going. Suddenly, as Knuckles ran, something appeared right in front of him with those black and red eyes, and then red static appeared again, and that was showing nothing but black screen with text and found him. Now I was scared.
Okay.
Sonic found Knuckles already. What was going on? Anyway, red static came again. Back to the level. Knuckles looked like he was panicking, and Sonic was nowhere to be found. And this time, that high-pitched squealing from Silent Hill 1's final boss was playing. Was this Sonic? I hope to God it wasn't, honestly. Suddenly, Sonic appeared right behind Knuckles.
I gotta say, Knuckles' level out of the Sonic EXE game was probably the coolest. Like, I love the fact that he tries to fight back only to become tired and stuff. Like, it's cool when you get to see characters in horror at least try to fight back, you know? The dude playing this is not very good at it, though. It's kind of funny, though. If you're wondering who I'm watching right now, for those who... Because I'm not trying to discredit the dude or nothing. I'm watching the channel's called TUV, okay? I'm watching every single original Creepypasta Volume 1, so... You know what, I gotta be honest, I don't think that Sonic EXE is even that bad. A lot of people dislike the story, but I think it's not even that bad. Like, it's kind of good. I liked it. The only thing is, I would say it's like, a lot of people would say like certain things like Ben Drown and Sonic EXE are like some of the greatest creepypastas to have ever been written, but I would disagree slightly just due to the fact that they're not as, like, they are original, but like, think about it like this. If something were to get a game or movie, right, it would not be those. because they literally have the appearance of two already licensed, already established characters, Sonic and Link. So that's why I just don't put them, like, as much as I like the story, I don't put Sonic EXE or Ben Drowned super, super high up, because there are other characters who are more original, you know. Like, if I was making a Mount Rushmore of creepypasta, I probably wouldn't put either of them on there. Like, if I was making a Mount Rushmore of creepypasta based on, like, influence or how much I like them or whatever, well, let's just go with influence. I would say, like, I'd probably go, like, Jeff the Killer, Slender Man, Laughing Jack, Eyeless Jack. Right there, that's the Mount Rushmore of creepypasta. And anybody else here, because I know there's 2 viewers right now, anybody else here is creepypasta fans? Let me know your Mount Rushmore of creepypasta.
Next, I still thought that was wacky, playing it robotic, but anyway, the level title appeared again, and this time it said ... which I found really freaky. This time I was in some kind of hallway. It didn't really look like it was from the game classic Sonic game, though it had that pixelated style. The floor was shiny and checkered, the walls were dark grayish purple with animated candlelights, and a few dark bloodstains here and there. There was a dark red curtain hanging above the top part of the screen. Every 12 seconds or so, the red curtain sways very slowly, but whenever you play the game, you can barely see it move. On the pleasant piano, playing rather sad, maybe peaceful song. I knew better. It's just the song they played until Act 1. It wasn't in reverse. Robotnik didn't look entirely nervous like Tails and Knuckles did, but he had a suspicious look on his face, as if he was a bit nervous. He did a little animation when I just left him standing. He turned his head to the left and then to the right at least twice.
Okay. Here's how it's going so far. It's getting there. I know I keep saying, oh, it's getting there, it's getting there, it's getting there, but it is. It is.
I stopped to look at a long flight of stairs leading downward. Now, I was nervous. Even Robotnik seemed unsure of himself, though I pressed onward and sent Robotnik down the stairs. I noticed that the walls had gotten a lot more darker and more reddish. The red torches are now in weird blue. Then we landed onto another hallway. This one was longer than the last one, or at least it felt like it. And we headed down another flight of stairs down. This one was much longer. It took at least 1 full minute. Then I heard that laugh again, and the music slowly faded until it was quiet. As it did, the walls turned more dark red. The torches were a black flame now when Robotnik landed onto the third hallway. I noticed how he looked really creeped out, though he tried to hide it. I couldn't blame him. I was scared too. Suddenly, Sonic broke right in front of Robotnik and said, "What are you doing, Knuckles?" And red static. Red static lasted for about 15 seconds. It showed me a really unpleasant image. It showed what seemed to be hyper-realistic Sonic standing in the darkness.
Oh my god. That's one of the tropes in creepypasta that always bothered me the most. It's saying like, oh, it had hyper-realistic eyes. It's like, bro, you can just say it had realistic eyes. You don't have to say hyper-realistic every time. I'm not a writer. I don't claim to be, okay? The most writing I do is like comic writing and shit, as you can see on my community tab, because I posted an original comic last night. You know, that's the most writing I do. I'm not like a writer, I guess. But if creepypasta ever gets a revival, like I'm hoping it does, please, dear God, leave the hyper-realistic eyes thing back there.
Times. The third time, I heard the Kefka laugh, except this time it sounded distorted and monotone. Except this time it was text, though it was messed up. It was pretty much one of the most horrifying things I've looked at since I heard this game. I am God. It was when I read that message while looking at Sonic.
I don't know if anybody has like headcanons of certain things, but one of my headcanons ever since I was like little, I watched a video on exactly what Sonic.exe is. But no, let me pause this because I want to hear this. Anyhow, one of my headcanons since I was little, because I've always been in creepypasta, I've always been into Sonic. Those were 2 of the earliest things I've ever been into. Like, the first things I've ever been into in my life were Mortal Kombat, Sonic, creepypasta, Slender Man, Amnesia, actually. But anyway, Amnesia and probably Skylanders, I guess. Those were the first, like, 6 things I was into, like, early on. And my headcanon for Sonic.exe has always been Zalgo. Zalgo is taking control of of a Sonic game, and that's what the black eyes with the red pupils with the blood coming out is about. Is my headcanon is Sonic.exe is Zalgo Media, since usually Zalgo Media has the black pupils, eyes, the blood coming out. Maybe it's just somebody who basically just ripped off the Zalgo concept of what Zalgo does, but ultimately I think Sonic.exe is Zalgo Media. So
That's that it came again, this time much louder, distorted, so loud that it hurt my ears. I yelled and grabbed my ears as the wind static screeched for a good 7 seconds. Then it stopped and showed me my black screen. As I sat there staring at the black screen, one last text came up. Round 2, Tom, Kevkalaf, now sounding more clear as if Sonic was right behind me. Played it again 3 times as I looked at that text in shock and confusion. Then I got put back to the main menu. This time, the third save file had a TV image of Robotnik in the same tormented state, his tails and knuckles, Robotnik's skin turned dull gray, his mustache drooped and had blackened, his glasses broke, and blood coming from them. He had a weird dead-like expression on his face. I looked at tails, knuckles, Robotnik, and cried. I hate them for the agony they're going through. They were forever trapped in the game, forever tormented by that horrid hedgehog, who always will be. The computer shut itself off. You couldn't turn it back on no matter what you did. I sat there for maybe 25 seconds, horrified by what had just happened. Sonic is the very embodiment of evil. He tortures people who play his game in more ways than one, and then when he gets bored, he drags you into the game. He literally drives you to hell where he can play with you always as his toy. I can't get the game out of my computer. I get stuck in there, and at least I managed to turn it back on now. After I sat there for 25 seconds, I heard a voice right behind me, like a whisper, trying to keep this interesting from the top. I turned around to see where the voice came from. When I saw it,
okay, so what I decided I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna go give him
in appearance, Sonic.exe is almost identical to the established Sonic the Hedgehog.
sorry,
Stylized bipedal hedgehog with famously
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give the overalls
smile.
the brown color,
EXE version,
and I'm gonna give the fur Toy Bonnie's color.
hits through which a single point of red light shining wall blood or
So it's gonna be like, instead of having like long, like actual like fabric overalls, like a lot of like, I don't know, Chuck E. Cheese style robots would have, or like, because obviously Five Nights at Freddy's characters usually don't wear anything more than like a bow tie or something. But sorry. What the hell was I talking about anymore?
For Sonic the Hedgehog, in which the character has the aforementioned eye injuries but retains the sadistic smile. The post, Casey Kahina, implies that he was also the creator of the original image, though that hasn't been confirmed. The story inspired by the image was posted by Jason Kahina to the Creepypasta Wiki on 9th of August 2011. Almost a year to the day later, a game based upon the Creepypasta story was released by M1 Crimson on Game Jolt.
Oh yeah. Since they usually don't have like more than a bow tie in Five Nights at Freddy's, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have the overalls be like kind of like the color of the legs, if that makes sense. So it's gonna be like separate, like it's gonna be like separate metal pieces for like the leg pieces and all that, and all that's gonna be brown from like right here, and then everything else is gonna be Toy Bonnie colors. So yeah, that's the game plan. Is I'm gonna give him Toy Bonnie's fur color and all that. Robbie the Rabbit's like overall color for the legs and body. I'm going to give it the green bow tie from Robbie and some of his features on the head, so that it looks like an even mashup of Toy Bonnie and Robbie the Rabbit. Exactly the same way, but now more explicitly identifies the Sonic.exe character as an eldritch abomination. The Sonic.exe character and story are examples of an established subgenre within creepypasta, which relates to cursed or haunted video games. Oh shit, there's 3 people here, welcome. Here's what we're working on. This is a mashup of Five Nights at Freddy's and Silent Hill. Here we go, here's a closer look. It's going good. It's going very good. Pasta writers, namely the adoption and subversion of established or primarily benevolent characters, taking beloved figures and giving them an evil or menacing element, or creating an alternate evil version of a well-loved character.
Wawa has the right drinks for the right time. Like a caffeinated pineapple recharge or energy drink to move your morning. A pineapple smoothie to satisfy your afternoon. Or a pina colada milkshake to make the day. And right now, try Wawa's pineapple drinks anytime.
So that was one of my personal favorite creepypastas of all time, just because of the fact that it was actually a real game and it's just a nostalgic factor. Without the nostalgic factor, it's still a good creepypasta story. For that one, I provided the gameplay footage in the background, so we're to the person that I got the gameplay footage from.
Cool.
I tried.
I kind of messed up with the body a little bit, but I fixed it. I made the body a separate torso piece because that is accurate to the Five Nights at Freddy's style. Then I'm gonna.
It's no longer known as the original audio file because I think it said in the story that it was.
And then I'm gonna
so that laugh is not known as Sonic.exe. Let's head on over
finish up the legs and the feet, and then I'm moving on to the head, and then I can color and give it all the textures and all that bullshit.
Phenomena right after that they visited me, I believe in that paranormal trash. A week after I moved in with Edwin, and after my house was finished unpacking, I wouldn't like the idea of moving in because we hadn't seen each other for 10 years.
Yeah, they recently made a Laughing Jack game, and it was actually really cool. I didn't play it because it's on computer, but it was still cool that people are still making games and shit. You know, as like a huge creepypasta fan. I mean, I have been my whole life. It was the first type of horror media I ever watched, and I was instantly hooked. It's cool to see that people are still engaging with the community and they're still making stuff, you know? Because it's become a lot quieter, I guess, which makes sense because it's kind of it had its time in the limelight, which I'm hoping for a creepypasta revival eventually. But, I see a lot of Marble Hornets stuff on YouTube and occasional stuff from creepypasta, and that's really cool to see that people are still. They might not be making stories like they used to, but it's still cool to see people still engaging with the community. Like you can find like, as of like 2-3 months old, Marble Hornets stuff. Like Marble Hornets is actually, weirdly enough, more active than the creepypasta community when it comes to like art and posts and stuff. Like people still post all the time about Marble Hornets, which it still makes me happy because I'm glad that people are still enjoying the Slenderverse. Because I recently got into like, I've always been a Slenderman fan, but I never watched any of the Slenderverse stuff apart from like Slenderman in real life found type shit when I was a kid. So recently, as of the last like month, I watched Marble Hornets for the first time, and I was fucking hooked. I loved it. I plan on watching the rest of the Slenderverse soon, but one of my viewers suggested The Last of Us, so I'm going to watch that so we can talk about that, and then after that, maybe I'll finish watching the Slenderverse. I'm playing like Emily Anderson, Dark Harvest, Tribe 12, stuff like that, because I've already seen Marble Hornets. Obviously, I know that's not connected to the other ones. Hello, Catherine. I know it's not connected to the other ones, but still. I'm working on this. It's a Robbie the Rabbit, Five Nights at Freddy's Silent Hill mashup. I had the idea yesterday, so I'm doing it today.
Later fan-made variants on the original story, Eyeless Jack is commonly found standing at the foot of the bed or leaning over his sleeping victim. In most depictions, Eyeless Jack wears a blue mask and hoodie. There are 2 black holes where the eyes should be, while the rest of the facial features are either missing entirely or only suggested in shape. The image most commonly associated with the character is a photograph taken from below, as if it's looking up at a blank-faced figure with only 2 gaping holes where the eyes should be. This photograph, which predates production of the actual story of Eyeless Jack, was created on November 19, 2009 by the screen art users NickTZ408 and Pirate Cashew. The image was then posted by a user calling himself Arnon on 4chan, amongst a collection of creepy images taken from video games that he claimed to have found on 4chan/Discord. The collection was labeled as Nightmare Fuel and significantly featured the image of the as-yet nameless character. The image was posted on June 7, 2010, and wouldn't be attached to a story until February 2012. Like many creepypasta characters, there was an ekphrastic element to Eyeless Jack's creation, meaning that the actual story of Eyeless Jack came after or was inspired by the image. That story was eventually posted to creepypasta by a user named Zelf5000 on February 25th, 2012, and was presented as a first-person account.
Oh, I'm doing all right. And that's all right. You don't have to stay enough. I appreciate you stopping by.
By the YouTube by Mr. Creepypasta in March of 2012. Interestingly, the original creepypasta was removed by its creator in the wake of the original Johnnie Jigsaw was removed, with its author expressing a desire to remove himself before the admins of the site could.
Ow.
Short story, huh? I actually really like this one. I think it's straight to the point, very simple. I think that the art is amazing. Like that original image, I should say. The original image is amazing.
Alright, there we go. We got it down to just the head that needs to be inked and stuff. And, yeah. Later. I will, I'm sure I'll hear from you later when I talk to Ben Giorno.
the story, someone got inspired by the image and gave it a story. So I think it's always nice to provide a visual. It's always nice to provide a visual. Though I know every creepypasta ends up getting a visual because fan art is made after, if it's popular enough. There's something different when it's like an original image before the story. It just adds another fear factor. Let's head on to Jeff the Killer. Jeff the Killer. Excerpt from local newspaper. Ominous unknown killer is still at large. After weeks of unexpected...
I saw a video, semi-recently, as of like the last month or so. It was really interesting, because it was really cool. It was... It was Ghostface versus Jeff the Killer, and it was really cool because Jeff the Killer actually held his own pretty well. It wasn't until they brought in the other Ghostface that it became a problem for him. It was just like, it was really cool. It was like a fight to the death. It was really cool. I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was funny because Jeff went out with a smile on his face, and that's what made it so great, was that it's Jeff versus Ghostface. He ultimately loses because there's two Ghostfaces, one of him, and when they kill him, he's just laughing. Like, that's so on character, though. Like, I love that. Ow. I'm gonna like this, so it knows Miem is for his, like, creepypasta.
I'm trying to get back to sleep. That's when I had a strange feeling like someone was watching. I looked up and nearly jumped out of my bed. There, a little ray of light illuminating two curtains were a pair of two eyes. They weren't regular eyes. They were dark, bordered in black, just plain out terrifying. That's when I saw his mouth, a long, red smile that made every hair on my body stand. He stood there, watching me. Finally, after what seemed like forever, he said in a simple phrase, but it said only in a way a madman could speak. He said, "Go to sleep." I let out a scream. That's what sent him at me. He pulled up a knife, aiming it at my heart. He jumped on top of my bed. I fought him back. He came to me, punched. I rolled around, tried to knock him off me. That's what my dad was thinking. I put the knife onto my dad's shoulder. That probably would have finished him off if one of the neighbors hadn't alerted the police. They drove into the parking lot and ran towards the door. I had turned and ran down the hallway and smashed like glass.
It's going really good. I really like how this turned out.
Towards the back of my house.
It's, in fact, everything I could have hoped for.
I can tell you one thing, I will never forget that face. Those cold and evil eyes and that psychotic smile. They'll never leave my head. Police are still on the look for this man. If you see anyone that fits the description of the story, please contact the local police department. Jeff and his family had just moved into a new neighborhood. His dad had gotten a promotion at work, and they thought it would be best to live in one of those, quote, fancy neighborhoods. Jeff and his little brother Liu complained though, and you better house.
Liu. I'm sorry.
Hello.
That's great.
I'm Marvin. I live across the street from you. Well, I just wanted to introduce myself and to introduce my son. He turns around.
That's actually, I play this character on DVD. He's kind of my main a little bit. I like using Slipknot Legion, but I got into the habit of using Silent Hill Legion because obviously Slipknot is copyrighted, and if I use that on stream, because it'll play the dying song, and I'm not turning that off. You do not turn the Slipknot Legion music off. I'll get copyright claims. So, yeah, that's what originally made me want to do this, is because my main on DVD is Robbie the Rabbit Legion. Obviously, Legion as a whole is my main, but, you know.
He dismissed it as just a random feeling. He heard his mother coming out to get his stuff, and he walked out to get it. The next day, Jeff walked downstairs to get breakfast, and got ready for school. As he sat there, he once again got that feeling. This time it was stronger. It gave him a slight tugging, but he once again dismissed it. As he and Liam finished breakfast, they walked down to the bus stop. They sat there waiting for the bus. And then, all of a sudden, some kid on a skateboard jumped over them, only inches above their laps. They both jumped back in surprise. Hey, what the hell? The kid landed and turned back to them. He kicked the skateboard up and caught it with his hands. The kid seemed to be about 12, 1 year younger than Jeff. He wears an Aeropostale shirt and ripped blue jeans. Well, well, well. It looks like we got some new meat. Suddenly, two other kids appeared. One was super skinny and the other was huge. Well, since you're new here, I'd like to introduce ourselves. Over there is Keith. Jeff and Liu looked over at the skinny kid. He had a dopey face and he would accept.
He calls him Liu one more time, I swear to God. It's so bad.
This kid looked like he hadn't exercised since he was crawling. He died, said the first kid, and ran. Now, for all the kids in his neighborhood, there's a small price for bus fare. You catch my drift. Liu stood up, ready to punch the lights out of the kid's eyes when one of his friends pulled a knife on him. I hoped he would be more cooperative. it seems we must do this the hard way. The kid walked up to Leo and took his wallet out of his pocket. Jeff got that feeling again. Now he was truly strong, a burning sensation. He stood up, but Leo just...
It's coming out really cool. I really like this.
Walked up to the kid. Listen here, little punk. Give back my brother's wallet or else. Randy put the wallet in his pocket and pulled out his own knife. Oh, what will you do? Just as he finished the sentence, Jeff popped the kid in the nose as Randy reached for his face. Jeff grabbed the kid's wrist and broke it. He screamed. Jeff grabbed the knife in his hand. Troy and Keith rushed Jeff, but Jeff was too quick. He threw Randy to the ground. Keith lashed out at him.
There we go.
Jeff ducked instead.
There he is. He's done. Well, he's not done. He still needs coloring, but it's good.
Straight in his stomach and Troy went down. As he fell, he puked all over him. He could do nothing but look in amazement at Jeff. Jeff, how did you? Was all he said. He saw the bus coming. He blamed for the whole thing, so he started running as fast as he could. As they ran, he looked back and saw the bus driver rushing over to Randy and the others. Jeff immediately went to school. They didn't get to know what happened. All they did was sit and listen. Leo just thought of that as his brother beating up a few kids, but Jeff knew it was more. It was something scary because he got that feeling. He felt how powerful it was. The urge to just stab someone. He didn't like how it sounded, but he couldn't help feeling happy. He felt that strange thing go away and stay away from the entire day.
Oh yeah, that is cool. I like this. I mean, it's Silent Hill and it's Five Nights at Freddy's. What is not to fucking love?
His parents asked him how his day was, and he said in a somewhat ominous voice, it was a wonderful day. Next morning, he heard a knock at his front door and walked out to find two police officers at his door. The mother looking back at him with an angry look. Jeff, these officers tell me that you attacked 3 kids, that it wasn't regular fighting, and that you were stabbed. Stabbed, son. Jeff's gaze fell to the floor.
Okay, where? Okay, I need green for the eye because Toy Bonnie has green eyes.
We found 3 kids, 2 stabbed, 1 having a bruise on his stomach, and we have witnesses proving that he fled the scene. Now, what does that tell us? Jeff knew it was no use. He could say him and Leo had been attacked, but there was no proof of them not being attacked in the first place. He couldn't say they weren't fleeing because truth be told, they were. So Jeff couldn't defend himself or Leo. Son, call down your brother. Jeff couldn't do it. So he who beat up all the kids. Sir, it was me. I was the one who beat up the kids. Leo tried to hold me back, but he couldn't stop me. The cop looked at his partner, and they both died. Well, kid, it looks like you're injured. Wait, says Leo. They all looked at the scene with a knife. The officers pulled their guns and locked them on me. It was me. I beat up those little punks. I had the marks to prove it. He lifted up his hands, no cuts and bruises, as if he was in a struggle. Son, just put the knife down, said the officer. Leo held up the knife and dropped it to the ground. He put his hands up and walked over to the cops. No, Leo, it was me. I did. Jeff had tears running down his face. Poor bro. And I take the blame for what I did. Well, take me away. The police led Leo out to the patrol car. Leo, tell them it was me. Tell them. I was the one who beat up those kids. Jeff's mother put her hands on his shoulders. Jeff, please. You don't have to lie. No, it's Leo. You can stop. Jeff watched helplessly as the cop car speeds off from the inside. A few minutes later, Jeff's dad pulled into the driveway, seeing Jeff's face and knowing something was wrong. Son, what is it? Jeff couldn't answer. He wasn't restrained from crying. Instead, Jeff's mother walked his father inside to break the bad news to him as Jeff waited.
Okay, it's coming good. It's getting colored.
The house, seeing that his parents were both shocked, sad, and disappointed. He couldn't look at them. He couldn't see how they thought of Leo when it was his fault. He just went to sleep, trying to get the whole thing off his mind. 2 days went by. No word from Leo, and Jane see no.
I think it looks like a perfect mix. Like I like how it has like Robbie's kind of body shape, but like more in the Toy Bonnie style. I really enjoy that. I really like it.
It's Billy's party. It was now fully lit. Mom, you're joking, right? You don't expect me to go to some kid's party after pause. Jeff and Lee both know what happened. This party can be the thing that brightens up the past. Now get dressed. Jeff's mother walked out of the room and downstairs to get ready himself. He fought himself to get up. Picked out a random shirt and a pair of jeans and walked downstairs. He saw his mother and father all dressed up. His mother in a dress, his father in a suit. He thought, why would they wear such fancy clothes to a kid's party? Son, is that all you're going to wear? Said Jeff's mom. Better than wearing too much. He said, he found the feeling to yell at him. He with a smile. Now, son, you may be overdressed, but this is how you go if you want to make an impression, said his father. Jeff grunted and went back up to his room. I don't have fancy clothes, he yelled downstairs. Just pick out something, he called his mother. He looked around in his closet for what he could call fancy. He found a pair of black dress pants he had for special occasions and an undershirt. He couldn't find a shirt to go with it, though. He looked around and found only striped and patterned shirts, none of which go.
Okay.
The kids are out in the yard. Jeff, how about you go and meet some of them, said Barbara. Jeff walked outside to
Hello.
a yard full of kids. They were running around in weird cowboy costumes and shooting each other with plastic guns. Standing in Toys R Us. Suddenly, a kid came up to him and handed him a toy gun and a hat. Hey, want to play? He said, no kid, I'm too old for this stuff. The kid looked at him with a weird puppy dog face. Please, said the kid. Fine, said Jeff. Put on the hat.
How is this
At first, he thought it was totally
Well, now it's on the floor.
He decided to actually have fun.
But for real though, how is this
First time he had done something
magenta? That looks like brown to me.
the kids for a while until he heard a noise, a weird rolling noise. Then he hit him. Randy, Troy, and Keith all jumped over the fence on their skateboards. Jeff dropped the fake gun and ripped off the hat. Randy looked at Jeff with burning hatred. Hello, Jeff. Is it? He said. We have some unfinished business. Jeff saw his bruised nose.
Right, I forgot these ones kind of suck color-wise.
See, Randy got me looking at these. Oh no, I don't go for evil. I go for winning. We may have kicked their asses that one day, but not today. As he said that, Randy rushed at Jeff. They both fell to the ground. Randy punched Jeff in the nose. Jeff grabbed him by his ears and headbutted him. Jeff pushed Randy off the ground. They both rose to their feet. Kids were screaming. Parents were looking at the cops, trying to keep guns out of their pockets.
Oh wow, that's crazy. I mean, I know I got distracted a lot, but that's crazy. Took me an hour to finish this.
Randy started kicking with the face. After 3 kicks, Jeff grabs his foot, twists it, causing Randy to fall to the ground. Jeff stood up and towards the back door. Troy grabbed him, picks Jeff up by the back of the collar, throws him to the back of the door. As Jeff tries to stand, he's kicking down to the ground. Randy repeatedly starts kicking Jeff until he starts to cough up blood. Come on, Jeff, fight me. Picks Jeff up and throws him to the kitchen. Randy sees a bottle of vodka on the counter and smashes the glass over Jeff's head. Fight! He throws Jeff back into the living room. Come on, Jeff, look at me. Jeff glances up, his face riddled with blood. I was the one who got your brother sent to JDC. And now you're just gonna sit here and let him rot in there for a whole year? You should be ashamed. Jeff starts to get up. Oh, finally! You stand and fight. Jeff is now on his feet, blood and vodka on his face. Once again, he gets this strange feeling, the one in which he hasn't felt for a while. Finally, he's up! Says Randy as he runs at Jeff. That's when it happens. Something inside Jeff snaps. His psyche is destroyed.
Something just snapped. Something inside of me. I'm sorry, I can't help myself. As soon as I heard that, it was just like fucking Dragon Ball Z. I didn't care about being better than Kakarot. I didn't care about becoming the Super Saiyan. I didn't care anymore. That's great.
Parents, crying kids, even Troy and Keith, although they easily break their gaze and put their guns at Jeff. Jeff sees the guns trained on him and runs up the stairs. As he runs, Troy and Keith both let out fire on him. Each shot missing, Jeff runs up the stairs. He hears Troy and Keith follow up behind. As they let their final rounds of bullets off, Jeff runs into the bathroom. He grabs a towel rack and rips it off the wall. Troy and Keith race in. Knives heavy. Troy swings his knife at Jeff, who backs away and makes the towel rack into Troy's face. Troy goes down hard, and all that's left is Keith. He's more agile than Troy, though. Ducks when Jeff swings the towel rack, and dropped the knife and grabbed Jeff by the neck and pushed him into the wall. A thing of bleach fell down on top of him from the top shelf. It burned both of them as they both started to scream. Jeff wiped his eyes as best he could. He pulled back the towel rack and swung it straight into Keith's head. As he lay there, bleeding to death, he let out an ominous smile. What's so funny? Asked Jeff. Keith pulled out a lighter and switched it on. What's funny? He said, is that you're covered in bleach and alcohol. Jeff's eyes widened as Keith threw the lighter on him. As soon as the flame made contact with him, the flames ignited the alcohol and the vodka, while the alcohol burned him. The bleach bleached his skin. Jeff let out a horrible screech as he caught on fire. He tried to roll out the fire, but there was no need.
It's getting... Oh.
Inferno. He ran down the hall and fell down the stairs.
Oh. It's getting there. It's getting good. It's starting to look really good.
To the ground and dead. The last thing Jeff saw was his mother and the other parents trying to extinguish the fire. That's when he passed out. When Jeff woke, he had a cast wrapped around his face. He can't see anything, but he felt a cast on his shoulder and stitches all over his body. He tried to stand up, but realized that there was some in his arm. When he tried to get up, he fell out, and a nurse rushed in. I don't think he can get out of bed just yet. She said she put him back in his bed and inserted the tube. Jeff sat there with no vision, no idea of what the surroundings were. Finally, after hours, he heard his mother. Honey, are you okay? She asked. Jeff couldn't answer though. His face was covered. He was unable to speak. Oh, honey, I have great news. After all the witnesses told the police that Randy confessed to trying to attack you, they decided to let Lee go. This made Jeff almost pulled time, stopping halfway, remembering the tube coming out of his arm. He'll be out by tomorrow. You two will be able to be together again. Jeff's mother hugs Jeff and says goodbye. The next couple of weeks were those where Jeff was visited by his family and kicked the day with bandages what's in the room. Family members were all there to see what he looks like as the doctors unwrapped the bandages from his face. He was on the edge of their seats. He waited until the last bandage the cover over his face was all too low. Let's hope for the best, said the doctor. He quickly pulls the cloth, letting the rest fall from Jeff's face. Jeff's mother screamed.
My hands are sweaty and it's making it hard to work.
What happened to my face? Jeff said. He rushed out of the bed and ran into the bathroom. He looked in the mirror and saw the cause of the distress. His face. It's horrible. His lips were burned to a deep shade of red. His face was turned into a pure white color, and his hair seemed from brown to black. He slowly put his hand to his face. It had a sort of leathery feel to it now. He looked back at his family and back to the mirror. Jeff, it's not that bad. Not that bad, said Jeff. It's perfect. His family was able. Jeff started laughing uncontrollably. His parents noticed that his left eye and head were twitching. Jeff, are you okay? Okay? I've never felt more happy. Look at me. His face goes perfectly with me. He couldn't stop laughing. He stroked his face, feeling, looking at it in the mirror. What caused this? Well, you may recall that when Jeff was fighting Randy, something in his mind, his sanity, snapped. Now he was left as a crazy killing machine. That is, his parents didn't know. Doctor, said Jeff's mom, is my son. Oh, right. Oh yes, this behavior is typical for patients that have taken very large amounts of painkillers. If his behavior doesn't change in a few weeks, bring him back here. We'll give him a psychological test. Oh, thank you, doctor. Jeff's mother went over to Jeff. Jeff, sweetie, it's time to go. Jeff looks away from the mirror. His face still formed into a crazy smile. His mother took him by the shoulder and took him into his clothes. This is what came in, said the lady at the desk. Jeff's mom went down, see the black dress pants and white hoodie her son wore. Now they were clean of blood and stitched together. Jeff's mother led him to his room and made him put his clothes on. And they laughed, not knowing that was their final day of life. Later that night, Jeff's mother woke to a sound coming from the bathroom. It sounded as if someone was crying. She slowly walked over to see what it was. When she looked into the bathroom, she saw a horrendous sight. Jeff had taken a knife and carved a smile into his cheeks. Jeff, what are you doing? Asked his mother. Jeff looked over to his mother. He couldn't keep smiling, Mom. It hurt after a while. Now I can smile forever. Jeff's mother noticed his eyes wrinkled black. Jeff, your eyes! His eyes were seemingly never closing. I couldn't see my face. I got tired and my eyes were starting to close. I burned out the eyelid so I could forever see myself, my new face. Jeff's mother slowly started to back away, seeing that her son was going insane. What's wrong, Mommy? Aren't I beautiful? Yes, son, she said. Yes, you are. Let me go get Daddy so you can see your face. She ran into the room and shook Jeff's dad from his sleep. Get the gun, wait. She stopped as she saw Jeff in the doorway holding a knife. Mommy, you lied. That's the last thing. She rushes them with the knife, cutting both of them. His brother Lee woke up, startled by some noise. He didn't hear anything else, so he just shut his eyes and tried to go back to sleep. As he was on the border of slumber, he got the strangest feeling that someone was watching him. He looked up before Jeff's hand covered his mouth. He slowly raised a knife, getting ready to plunge it into Leo. He thrashed him in the air, trying to escape Jeff's grip.
Christ.
Jeff said, just go to sleep. So when it comes to the Jeff the Killer image, which is the most popular thing surrounding Jeff the Killer, not really the story itself, that image took a life of its own, the main question is, where did the image come from? For some time, it was believed that the photograph was a Photoshop manipulated image of a girl identified as Katie Robinson. The story went that this young girl, who was considered by some internet trolls to be overweight, was eventually driven to suicide by online bullies. The image was in Photoshop and used as a basis for the most widely known Jeff the Killer image. It's a tragic story, which though it exists entirely separate from the Jeff the Killer creepypasta, the even more sinister aspect and legitimate reason to find the image unnerving. Depicting it as not only a deceased girl, but a victim of the same species of bullying that the fictional character endured. Fortunately, that's not really the story, it's just a rumor. Katie Robinson's story and the entire idea of the Jeff the Killer image used a photograph of a deceased girl as its basis has been done. The girl featured in the photograph alleged to belong to the unfortunate Miss Robinson is actually a girl named Heather White. It was confirmed that the images alleged to have been manipulated have nothing to do with the famous image of Jeff the Killer. Another theory which gained traction in recent years is that the original photograph was of an unnamed stick-up girl. This girl, who was alleged to have been crying for attention, was said to have used images in which the flash from a camera or monitor illuminated and overexposed her face, giving it the bleached out white appearance familiar to the Jeff the Killer images. Her image was subsequently screenshotted and adopted by another anonymous user, who then posed as her using her photograph to ask, "Am I pretty?" Responding to what seemed to be a naked self-promotion or hunting for sympathy clicks, viewers of the image gradually added to a thread in which they manipulated the image so that it gradually becomes more and more distorted. These Photoshop images are believed by some to have evolved to the original Jeff the Killer photographs, and that's just one theory. So far, the farthest back anyone can trace the image is to a Japanese site called EYA.cc, where two versions of the image were found. Both faces are noseless, though one had added contour shading around the eyes and the area where the nose would be. It's also been noted that the two images have different eye shapes, with one looking more like the eyes from a stuffed toy or a cartoon character.
Thank you for waiting. Please hold. Get renter's insurance that works faster. Get Lemonade, with prices starting at just $5 a month and claims handled as fast as that. Sign up for insurance you'll love at lemonade.com/renters.
Hey, what's up, guys? You like how I look without the glasses? Jeff the Killer, one of the best stories on this list, I'd say. I know it speeds up very quick, even though it's a long story, but it's like all of these stories are going to speed up quick. We're not reading books here, we're reading creepypastas. I think it might be the best creepypasta of all time.
I think that's it for the brown.
I think that's pretty popular, honestly. Yeah. Everything about the image and the image still not being known, like where it came from, is so fascinating. I think that's always going to keep the Jeff the Killer image relevant and always going to make people curious as to what the story is, though I never really knew about that story.
See, one of my favorite things about drawing
the image was the cool thing. I really liked it.
Is when you're doing the coloring
yeah, I fucked with it. Have y'all noticed
out of order, and you're just coloring certain pieces first, and you get to slowly see this image you made take life, you know? And I love that, because it's like, it's still, parts of it are blank and white, but it's slowly getting to that point, you know? It's really cool. I like it.
Jeff the Killer's the best creepypasta of all time. Anyway,
honestly, I would agree, kind of. think Jeff the Killer is my favorite spin-off characters, but I think the best creepypasta of all time has to be probably Tiki Toby or Slenderman, because Slenderman made it where proxies are a thing where you can infinitely have so much potential for new spin-off characters, and there's no limit to them. But Tiki Toby really introduced the first like real like proxy character to the website. So yeah.
Journal entry, translated from Spanish, 1880. I've experienced the greatest terror. I see his eyes when I close mine. They are hollow, black. They saw me, pierced me with his wet hand. I will not sleep. His voice, mariner's log, 1691. He came to me in my sleep, from the foot of my bed. I felt a sensation. He took everything. We must return to England. We shall not return here. From a witness, 2006. 3 years ago, I had just returned from a trip from Niagara Falls with my family for the 4th of July. We were all very exhausted after a long day of driving, so my husband and I put the kids right to bed. We called it a night at about 4 a.m. I woke up to my husband and got up to use the restroom. He didn't know when to steal back the sheets, only to wake him in the process. I apologized and told him I thought he got out of bed. He turned to face me. He gasped and pulled his feet out from the end of the bed so quickly he got out of bed. He then grabbed me and said nothing. After adjusting to the dark for half a second, I was able to see what caused the strange reaction. At the foot of the bed, sitting and facing away from us, there was what appeared to be a naked man or a large, hairless dog of some sort. Its body position was disturbing and unnatural, as if it had been hit by a car or something. For some reason, I wasn't instantly frightened by it, but more concerned as to its condition. At this point, I was somewhat under the assumption that we were supposed to help him. My husband was peering over his arm at me, tucked into the fetal position, occasionally glancing at me before returning to the creature. In a flurry of motion, the creature scrambled around beside the bed and crawled quickly in a flailing sort of motion right along the bed until it was less than a foot away from my husband's face. The creature was completely silent for about 30 seconds, or probably closer to 5. It just seemed like a while. It just was looking at my husband. The creature then placed its hand on its knee and ran to the hallway, leading to the kids' room. He screamed and ran for the light switch, wanting to stop him before he hurt my children. When I got to the hallway, the light in the bedroom was enough to see it crouching and hunched over about 20 feet away. He turned around and looked directly at me, covered in blood. I flipped the switch on the wall and saw my daughter Clara. The creature ran down the stairs when my husband and I rushed to help our daughter.
Clara, the baby is not mine. It sleeps on the ceiling, right side up or upside down. That's all I can think of. Doesn't matter.
The police were helpful at first, and the local newspaper took a lot of interest as well. However, the story was never published, and the local television news never followed up either. For several months, my son Justin and I stayed in a hotel at my parents' house. After we decided to return home, I began looking for answers myself. We eventually located a man in the next town who had a similar story. We got in contact and began talking about our experiences. We knew of 2 other people in New York who had seen the creature we now refer to as the Rake. It took the 4 of us about 2 solid years of hunting on the internet, writing letters to come up with a small collection of what we believed to be accounts of the Rake. None of them gave any details, history.
Well, that is cool as shit. I'm so excited to post this. This is looking good.
Yeah, a ship's log explained nothing of the encounter, and saying only they were told to me by the Rake. That was the last entry in the log. There were, however, many instances where the creature's visit was one of a series of visits with the same person. Multiple people also mentioned being spoken to, my daughter included. This led us to wonder if the Rake had visited any of us before our last encounter. I set up a digital recorder in my bed and left it running all night every night for 2 weeks. I would tediously scan through the sounds and rolling around in bed each day when I woke up. The second week, I was quite used to the occasional sound of sleep while blurring through the recording at 8 times normal speed. It still took almost an hour every day. The first day of the 3rd week, I thought I heard something different, but I found it was a shrill voice. It was the Rake.
It's getting good. It's getting good. It's a Silent Hill mashup with Five Nights at Freddy's. It's going good. It's getting really good. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really liking doing this. Can't wait to post it later to my community tab. It's going to be really cool. We're at the final stretch now.
Creature that stalks its victims on all 4s and has the appearance of somewhat resembling a mutated dog. The fanged and taloned creature is commonly said to live in the woods or forested areas. However, the spread of the character and the resulting lack of common rules around its habitat or behaviors means that it now has a far wider presence moving away from the woods and forests to be found in more urban areas, and even repeating the common creepypasta trope of appearing at the end of people's beds or in the rooms at night. The common consensus of the creature's appearance shows that it has large bulbous eyes that are reflective when caught in the light of a camera, a drooping jaw with a large, filled mouth with either a nose that is.
It's almost finished. We're getting done with the colors right now, and then I gotta find a color that'll match the Toy Bonnie muzzle. Thing is, it's like a weird, like purplish beige kind of color, and it's hard to match.
Origin story similar to that of Thunderman, the mythic creature known as the Rig eventually evolved out of a 2005 thread on 4chan where an anonymous poster on the /B board suggested that the contributors should collaboratively come up with ideas for a new monster. After some initial back and forth discussion, one particular idea was chosen as the most.
You know what? We'll try a purple. That's what we'll do. We'll try a purple, and if I don't like it, I'll try to mix it with some brown. Or you know, maybe if I do like a darker blue. Nope. It's like it's hard to hit. It's hard to find the color because Toy Bonnie has a really weird muzzle color because it's like it's not purple, it's not brown, it's not beige. It's like it's a weird, like really cool tone, but with here we go. Let's try this. That's about as good as it's getting. I mean, I don't know how to match the color.
The story indicates that sightings of a rig-like creature date back as far as the 12th century, and that the creature can be linked to unexplained phenomena and sightings of cryptid-like beings in the Northeast United States. By late 2008, rig stories appeared on LiveJournal. The story and variants featuring the rig appeared on Something Awful and 4chan. By the following year, it first appeared on the Paranormal subreddit in 2010. It later found its way into creepypasta forums and began to increase in popularity. A common misconception is that the appearance of the rig is based off the lightly shared image of a creature with the glowing eyes staring into the camera of a deer hunter, and is sometimes referred to as the Berwick monster. This image, which is now the most closely associated with the rig mythology, the common starting point from which most rig fan art and variants are derived, was actually taken seriously by mainstream media outlets when it first appeared. The still image, alleged to have been extracted from a memory card, the now broken night vision camera, was posted to the Wild Game Innovation site by someone claiming to have actually encountered the creature. The image of the strange encounter was then picked up by media outlets as Britain's The Daily Mail and NBC, which featured the image on a brief report on the alleged sighting on its morning show. However, rather than this,
you know what? I know what to do. I know what I'm gonna do.
The rig's appearance, the timeline seems to indicate that the rig stories were retrospectively linked to this image. Since discussions of the creature's appearance, Somerville's original story, and the first postings to major creepypasta and paranormal sites predate the image's creation and appearance in news media. The association of the image with the character most likely attributed to the face of the image itself appeared in the same month as a single topic blog Tumblr account, hoping to gather together all the fan art, creepypasta, and sighting reports into one place. The fans of the rig story or those encountering it for the first time, conflating the image with the story and an association that would continue to the present. Incidentally, despite some sites claiming that the Berwick monster photograph has never been authenticated or debunked, the image, which went viral and was spread on various platforms with posters alleging it was real, was in fact meant to be a depiction of a Grim from the game Resistance 3. It was released by the company responsible for the game, and such has been revealed to be a hoax. The Rake, another image that haunted mainstream media. I feel like you could argue that about Jeff the Killer. Like, people that don't even know about Jeff the Killer's story, they know the image though. And it's the same concept with the Rake, with it coming back every year that someone saw you in their backyard with their deer camera. It's like, bro, no, that's just the classic Rake image. Personally, I didn't like the story. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really like the Rake story. It was too quick. I feel like there's so much potential with this image. You could do a lot more. Same with, I would argue with Eyeless Jack, but Eyeless Jack just is a cooler image, so I'm a little biased on that. The Rake is like, it's a more haunting image, and I feel like you can do a lot more. And by the way, guys, there are multiple stories on each creepypasta. I just tried to pick the most original. If you know, we can always make a part 2 where I talk about sub-stories of each of the creepypastas. I know I didn't do Ben Drowned for this video. That's because it would have been the longest, and this video is already long enough. I don't even know what the watch time is going to be. But yeah, if we ever do a part 2,
there we go.
Ben Drowned, trust me, will be on there. And any mistakes. So yeah, let's head on over to Smile Dog.
Alrighty, I'm probably gonna get off here. I will do another stream, probably. Oh, my hair is a mess. Probably do another stream. Yeah, my hair is a GD mess. Soon, on Monday, I will show my workage around. My hair is a mess right now. On creating art, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.